Oh, welcome everybody. Welcome to our live stream. Today we're going to have some bit of fun. We've been looking at lots of different mobile games over the past few streams, and we thought this time we're going to go a different route and we're going to make up our own game from start to finish in 90 minutes. Slightly optimistic, Shazam. We'll see how much we can get done in 90 minutes. I'm sure we can do a lot. I've created a document already.
Since it's our own game, I'm sure we can pull it off.
Yeah, we don't have to do any of that nasty looking up at different values and doing different things. But you've got a couple of ideas that you were thinking about for this.
I had, yeah. I am quite the strategy game fanboy, especially the war type. I was thinking something along the lines, we take inspiration from two games, but we do make our own concept. Mainly the two games I was thinking of are Rome Total War and basically any Paradox game, but I'm going to say Europa Universalis. By that I mean we're going to be looking at managing settlements, creating income from settlements, managing armies, conquering new settlements, losing settlements to AI, and how to manage your economy and your army and your settlements in general in a strategy game. So this is one of what we're going to try and model today. We're going to try and have a model that is able to quick run by the end of it and to have a look at those parameters, mainly wealth and number of settlements, army size, a lot of parameters to check.
Nice. So where are we going to get started with this? We've got a nice blank canvas in front of us.
Yeah, my favorite part. Well, the main center of everything that's going to be going on is going to be through settlements. So I guess we should start by deciding how we want to implement our cities. So players will own cities in their respective regions. They can conquer cities from the AI can conquer those cities from them, and those cities will generate income for the player. Now, there's two ways I'm thinking here. One of them is easier, one of them is harder. I think we're going to go with the easier one because we only have an hour and a half. My two general ideas for this is you either have, especially if you have like a limited number of cities like Rome Total War, which has probably around 70 of those settlements, you could realistically model each of them. I am thinking we're going to use a more general approach here. So the pool that you have with cities that is placed on the canvas now is probably going to show us our total number of cities. We're not going to look at them individually. We will look at the buildings that are inside them, but we're going to do that in a bit of a different way. So first things first.
In terms of
go ahead.
Kind of currency, are we going to call this gold?
Sure.
And any other currencies you were thinking?
Well, I'm not thinking currency, but I'm thinking we should have a look at army.
Nice. And
there will be other things we need to track.
Resources? Food, supplies, something?
No, I don't think we need supplies. No, those games usually don't have supplies. What they do have is the army has an upkeep, so you need to pay for your army each month. So that's gonna be the way that the army functions, is by draining gold each month according to the size of the army. Yeah.
Something like that. Well, actually, let's do a really rough like core game loop, just so that we're clear on exactly what we're talking about and what we're looking to build.
Well, if we're gonna do a core game loop, do it as simple as possible. Then we're gonna say that cities generate a number of gold per step, right? Let's say 500. I don't know, not important. So each city generates an amount of gold per step for the player. That gold.
Do something like this. 500. On a state connection. Then we'll all those into there, make that interactive for a moment.
Yeah, on a very basic level, we can say that
so we have one city, that's going to start generating 500. Add more, increases our revenue, our coins.
Yeah. And I'm thinking on a very basic level, those coins should only be spent on increasing your army. So for now, we're only going to look at that. Later, we're going to introduce buildings because usually there is some type of city management. So okay, and you build a unit. Let's call it a unit, so we can keep the numbers low.
How much does it cost to run an army?
The upkeep should be small. Let's say 50 gold per unit for the moment. We can adjust that.
They're generating 500.
Yeah.
I guess if they cost 1,000.
Yeah, they cost 1,000, and if you get to 10 units, you're already not generating money. So
makes sense.
I think that I'm not sure if instead of having a drain, I'm thinking now, if we should just reduce the income. Maybe it's better with a drain. Because I guess they can also have, yeah, it's fine. So now when they're gonna reach 10 units, they're not even gonna gain gold anymore. So if they do conquer another city, they get more income. But again, they're not.
That one's triggering.
They spend the one gain. They spend it immediately. The drain needs to have precedence over the. You can do that by building. This is ID based. If you delete the 1K connection and build it again, I think it's gonna.
Oh, I was just gonna do it.
So for everyone that doesn't know, the order in which operations are executed in Machinations is by ID usually. And ID is can you click on a node? Yeah, you can see in the top right for the source, the ID is 160. So you can check that. And usually the elements with lower IDs take precedence over the elements with higher IDs. See, so now the drain takes precedence, I think. Yeah, it does.
This is draining every step.
Yeah, so the drain is taking precedence now, and only if you have money after paying the upkeep are you able to build the additional troops.
Nice, but that's a super simplified
Exactly.
thing.
And army size in return should help you conquer more settlements, obviously.
So really, I guess there'll be almost a conversion out of this, which says, I'm going to do some slightly weird loops.
I think this is already complicating it. I think we can move on to the real deal.
I've got a whole plan here. I'm going to loop this back into here. Start off with one. So, as you progress through the game, the fights get harder, which means it's harder to get another additional city.
It is. Obviously, the economy is not in place in this model. That's why it's getting quite snowbally here.
I think we're going to see the same part later on once we build our full model. It'll just be more complex.
Yeah. Especially in the gold generating department.
Absolutely. Right. So where do you want to start on a full model for this?
Well, I want to focus first on the way in which we handle gold generation, right? Because that's going to be important. Gold is going to be the fuel for every type of operation that a player wants to do. Now, the way we modeled it earlier was that cities just generate gold. That's one way to do it. I would want to go deeper into that though and make it so you can build certain buildings and those buildings generate income in return. And it costs gold to build those buildings. So it's an initial investment that pays off over time. For that, I was considering 2 main sources of income. We can do 3, I guess. I was considering for most medieval games of this type or ancient. Farming is one, always. Trading is another one. And you can sometimes add mining into there or fishing or stuff like that, but it's up to us how many types of buildings we want to add. Since we want to keep it relatively short, I think 2 or 3 are enough. So
the 3 separate sources into our gold.
You want to make farming income, trading income, mining income. Yeah, that's one approach.
Farming, trading, mining.
Sure. You can do mining, fishing, I don't know, whatever activity.
That'll do.
Yeah.
Make these look pretty. Where do we go from here?
Well, this is where the farming is going to be influenced by the amount of farms and the level of the farms that we have built, which is again something that we need to decide. Farming incomes comes from building farms, obviously. Now, do we just want to make it you either have a farm or you don't, or do you want to have level 1 farm, level 2 farm, up to level 3 or something? I don't know. Not making it too complex.
Well, let's do it super simple. And it's either your...
You have one or you don't.
Here's a genius idea. Ignore all of the individual levels of farm. It's your farming technology that upgrades, which is then global. So
this is a good idea, yeah.
Every city that you have has a farm, and depending on your global technology level. So you start off with like hand tools, and then you get horses, and then you get steam power,
I like it.
Electric.
I like it.
Progress the technology.
Yeah, I like it. So for that, we're going to need cities, obviously, because your amount of farms will be limited to how many cities you have. And we need another pool for the number of farms you've actually built, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to have cities somewhere around here. I'm going to ignore the pool that you created on the top with cities. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have, I don't know, farms. Now we also need the gold. We have it. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna convert gold into farms whenever we want to build a farm.
Or upgrade our technology in the farms.
Exactly, but at the moment we should have a separate one with technology. Maybe here. I'm not good with the spaces. I hope I spelled it correctly. Obviously, you can use gold to also increase your farm technology. Cool. We're gonna make this. I don't know if we should make it automatic. Maybe we do it interactive just for the purpose.
Now, and then we can work it out.
Yeah. Okay, so the cost of a farm, I have no idea what it should be. Just gonna make it 1,000 for the moment. The cost of upgrading farm technology, that should be 5K, I guess. It should be quite important because you don't only upgrade one thing, you upgrade all of your production. So
Yeah.
Now the cost of the farm should be constant. The cost of the farm technology should be increasing, I believe.
I think so.
So each technology should be more expensive than the last. You don't want to do this. So we are gonna use a dumb rule here. I'm not in the. Let's not complicate it too much. Actually, we don't even need the register. We can just use a state connection and do at each level adds an extra 5,000. So the cost will increase by 5,000 for every new technology that you get. Cool. Now, farms should be limited to the number of cities that we have. So we shouldn't be able to have 7 farms if we only have 3 cities. That's why I believe we should use an activator on a condition, on the converter here. We should compare the two numbers. So I'm gonna send the two as values in here, and don't have enough farms, then as long as the number of farms is smaller than the number of cities, we can still build farms. If we reach the number of cities, then we lose that ability.
Smaller AB, perfect.
Yeah. I think it also works just by doing A smaller than B. But I'm gonna leave it as smaller. And our farms plus farm technology should in turn increase our income from farming, right?
Yeah.
So each farm should add, I think there's no avoiding using a register here because we're gonna need both of them. So basically farms are gonna add an income of, I don't know, 200 each, maybe 100. And farm technology is going to, I'm thinking if we should multiply it. I guess we can double it, right?
Yeah.
Not sure. So it's gonna be times b plus 1.
So you've got
So,
A times 100.
yeah, so each farm is gonna be 100, and each farm technology is gonna multiply that amount. So if you have 5 farms, you're gonna generate 500. For each technology, you're gonna generate an extra 500, extra 500. Simple way to do it. Yeah, and that in turn determines the income.
And I'm just going to use an override on that.
Yeah. So now we're generating 0. We're not really generating enough gold, and we also don't have any cities. So let's put 3 cities.
Well, let's start off with 1 city.
Sure.
Start off with 1. And just to see what's happening.
Well, we're not generating gold.
Let's start with 1 farm. 1 farm, 1 city. So at least we're getting some. I'm going to turn these ones off for now. They're pretty irrelevant.
Yeah, but we're never gonna build because we don't have enough space.
Oh, we don't have enough cities.
Yeah.
Fine, I'm just going to chuck some more in there.
Now we are able to build a farm. We are able to build another farm. Again, although we do have the money to build a farm, we cannot because we lack the space to do so. Our production becomes 300. We are waiting to gather 5,000 to see what happens when we upgrade the technology. There we go. We doubled our production, and the next upgrade will cost 10,000.
Nice. So obviously that's one drain for our gold, which is upgrading our farm. But obviously we're going to have we need some more sources into that, and then we can work out obviously what the rest of our economy is. So trading economy or mining could actually just be exactly the same again.
Yes, I agree. I was actually thinking that all three of them could be the same.
So you build a trading outpost. It starts off with somebody walking between the different cities, and then going off trading, and then they have a horse, have a car, a cart, whatever.
Paved roads, docks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it. This looks slightly messy though.
Well, since I built it, yeah.
It's not my normal standard. So let me work out how can I get this into a slightly better format. I like what you've got here. Don't know if that made it any better or not. Move our cities out of the way. Oh. And try and do it while the simulation's playing. Never a good idea. So we have our farms, farm technology. We've got 2 converters coming out of here. That's better. Don't know if that's any neater, but that'll do. We grab that.
Well, we have no intersecting connections, so it's obviously better.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to make
that's the purpose of this
base here. Really important to remember that the whole canvas is infinite, so you don't have to squish everything up.
Yeah, at this point we can just I believe we can
I move this whole section.
Exactly, just copy paste it or add it to library. Because there's no point in rebuilding it. Okay, now let's see what needs to go where.
So I need to grab a letter B from the cities.
The connections into the converters have to come from gold. This is gonna be 1K. This is gonna be 5K. Trade technologies goes into 5k.
You know what, I need to move this gold pool. I'm going to move it right out. Which will break all the lovely connections for a moment.
Yeah.
But it's going to make life much, much easier.
Yeah, because we're also gonna need to have armies come out of gold, so it's better to move it.
We're going to have loads of stuff coming out of it, so if we move that ahead of time.
Yeah.
So do they make exactly the same amount of money from trading as they do from...
We can make the costs a bit different, I guess. Also, the prices should be higher.
If you're watching the stream, let us know what you think. If you think it should be more or less. Or if you have any questions about what we're doing, please do let us know in the chat.
I'm thinking we can make it a bit more, actually a bit less. We should make trading less profitable. Let's change this. Mining.
Another B from cities.
Mining.
Our connections from gold. Here. Line these up beautifully. So it's all nice and neat. Grab our label. Oh, thank you. Live editing, which is always a pleasure.
It's so much better when there are two people.
Nice. So now if I hit play, we've got some money going into gold.
The other ones are we only have one city, so
that's why.
And also the training and mining income are passive. Is the both of the sources are passive.
That's right, I did that deliberately.
Again, add cities.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was working.
Yeah, it's working. Now we should be able to build whatever we want.
Nice. I'm going to improve my mining technology. Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm getting 200 from that. Going to build an extra mine. Nice. Another marketplace. Market. Trade technologies.
It still seems pretty snowbally, but this is where the army will become an important drain in the system.
Yeah. Well, I think the key to this is that we're going to make it really hard to get another city.
Yes.
Some fun stuff with cities. Right. So that looks like the basics of our economy sorted.
Yes.
Now,
Um,
it's the key and what I love about Machinations is you start off with this beautiful, I've got an interactive source to add a city. And now let's talk about what we can do to make that significantly more realistic.
yes.
Or what's our gameplay going to be to acquire a city?
So the way I see it, we can maybe do it in some other way, but the simple way that I see it is based on the army that you have, the amount of troops. Each turn there is a chance that you're going to conquer an enemy city, and that chance gets higher, the bigger your army is. I would also introduce that every turn there is a chance that you lose a city, which would make I'm not sure if we should do it or not. The implications are that if you have, for instance, 3 farms and you have 3 cities, losing a city means also losing a farm. I'm not sure if we should implement losing cities or not, but the base idea should be that your army influences the chances of you getting or keeping a city. So it should be connected to the.
But we don't want to just do. Are you thinking something like Risk, where when you go and attack a city, rather than it being your defending armies 4 and you've got 5, you'll win, or
not like that. Not like that.
A little bit more randomized, whether or not you'll win or lose.
Well, it depends on two things. So the way that I imagined it was that, so you technically try to attack each turn. Basically, you kind of evaluate your chances and you go for it when you have let's say 10 units. When you have 10 units, you're going to try and attack a city, and you're going to have 60% chance to succeed, right? Having more troops doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win, but it does increase your chances of winning, right? So whenever if you want to simulate a battle in a single step, it is going to basically be a dice roll in the end. The chances should be dependent on the attacker's army in accordance to the defender's army, right? That's what should give the chances. Now, I'm thinking if we should simulate the defender's army or not. So if you attack a settlement, do we generate an army in that settlement and base our chances off that, or not? Or just give the player a chance to succeed?
Up to you. You're the game designer. What would make the best gameplay?
I think we can generate a random settlement each turn that the players attack, and give them an army. Just as a principle to show how it would look like. It's obviously going to be way more complex than what we're doing here, but as a principle, I think we can have something like, I'm going to place it in the right of cities. Something like enemy city troops. And this is going to be something random each turn. We're going to use a dice here. And we're going to drain it at the end of each turn. So we're going to have 3 plus D10. I don't know. And that should be automatic, yeah. Maybe even make them instant just to be easier to see.
I'm going to make that put -1 on the display setting.
Yeah. So now we should be generating a different amount of troops in the enemy city. And what I'm thinking is that we give the player chances of succeeding based on the difference between number of units. Now, if you have 4 units and the enemy has 10 units, it doesn't automatically mean that you're going to lose. Maybe you're a genius strategist, but it will make the fight harder, and there is a higher likelihood that you will lose that battle. So on a simple way, I think this is a good enough approach. Now, for that to work, we're going to need our own army, which again is going to be a pool. I believe you called it number of units.
Yeah.
And units are going to be recruited using gold. Now, as I'm talking, I'm thinking ahead. I don't know if we should have sort of blacksmith mechanics, that, or armory that gives you better weapons, make your troops better, or just have troops in general.
Well, we've been looking at farm technology level, which increases that amount. Maybe we can do this so that there's an amount of gold it costs to buy a.
Yeah,
so
that's better.
And then also we could do that same type of item into here, where this then becomes level. $10,000. Set my panels on there. So then we've got number of units, army technology level.
Yeah, and those number of units should influence the chances of winning. Now, what I'm trying to think while I speak, is that number of units should also, as we said at the beginning, be a constant drain on the player gold. So they should have upkeep.
Yeah, absolutely, and that could be just by slightly, just like we did before. Actually, a drain.
Yeah, but I think that the way it's built right now, because it's built the last one, it's going to be the last priority.
Well, actually, I think I see what you mean. But I think it's going to be fairly low compared to anything else. Potentially.
Well, since it's not automatic and they're interactive, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because we are the ones deciding when things are bought. So
we'll probably have to add a player loop at some point, Chesa.
Probably. Yeah, probably. It's gonna be buildings, attack player.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this should be a drain. I have no idea what the numbers should look like. I'm thinking now that I see that we get quite high numbers from our production, maybe an upkeep of 100 per unit is more realistic. So now each time we build a unit, it's gonna drain 100 gold constantly.
Yes.
This will obviously add up to a lot. So you kind of, especially in the beginning, you kind of have a choice if you want to manage your economy or you want to manage your army.
Like that.
At this point, we're not even generating money anymore. So at this point, your options would be either to disband your units, which could be an option that we put here, just a simple drain on number of units.
I quite like the idea of there being a negative reinforcement loop, that if you maybe we force farms to close or units to be destroyed.
That's what I'm saying, disband units.
If you can't sustain them.
Okay, if you can't sustain them, I think the first step should be disbanding units.
Yeah.
Because destroying buildings would put you in a loop where you gain income, but you also lose income, so it's not ideal. But troops are always going to be a drain, so then we can go, if we want to make it, I mean, we can leave it as interactive, make it a player choice. Maybe they see that they lose money, so they just disband the troops right before they go into bankruptcy. Another point here would be that if the gold is lower than 0, then you are forced to disband units, right? I'm thinking of, and again, this is based on games that I've played. For instance, in Europa Universalis, where when you declare bankruptcy, all of your army is deleted, is wiped. So we might have a similar approach here. I'm thinking that making you delete units until you gain money is kind of complicated. It would be much easier to sort of punish the player for being neglectful of their income and just wipe their whole army. What do you think?
I'm thinking like in the gameplay, if we have those moments where you're either you're going to battle, you're trying to win a city, you fail to win a city, and then the AI then comes and takes one of your cities, and suddenly you're left with a big army to support, and you lose a huge amount of your income. That's a tense moment inside the game.
It is, but technically when that happens, you should have some money saved up, so you should have some turns of, a cushion, so to speak. You don't necessarily go to 0 instantly.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. Well, strategy games are kind of snowball in this sense, because if you have a lot of cities, you generate a lot of income, you have great armies, right? If you have no cities, you have no income, you generate low armies, it's hard to conquer. They are snowbally by nature in this sense. I get what you mean. My personal approach would be to delete the entire army. I don't know, if they reach 0, so they mismanaged their economy, then they should be punished. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so hi, Sokio Tonyo. Thanks. Please, you're enjoying the stream. So where do we want to go with next? So we've got our number of units, we've got our drain coming out of our gold. How are you thinking?
Well, I think we should simulate the battle system, right?
Battle system, nice.
Is it? I think it's time for player loop.
Player loop.
I think it's your favorite part of the stream.
Where do we want it? I'm gonna put it down here somewhere. So anyone that's watched one of these sessions before will know my famous player loop now. I should probably publish this at some point in case it helps anybody else.
I think we can put it in public, yeah.
What I use this for all the time is just to simulate different types of player choices. So for some reason I always start off with a source, which is on the start. Let's have this one. We're going to have a blue resource this time. So it's going to create a single resource, which is going to come into this pool. This pool then comes into a random gate, equal chances of each of these different options taking place. Then the resource is going to end up in one of these pools, and it's going to loop back around through another automatic gate back into the pool. And this resource is just going to carry on around this loop forever. And this is just creating all the different types of paths that the player could go through. So this top one could be build farms, build, what do we call them, trading posts?
Yeah, marketplace, doesn't matter.
Build mine.
Yep. Upgrade farm technology, upgrade or
upgrade farms. Then I'm going to cheat slightly. I'm going to use...
Yeah, this is, you see, this is what Matthew's doing to perfectly space his pools.
Because it's really important that everything is absolutely perfectly spaced. Not at all. It's just me.
I don't know if it's just you.
Oh, I'm going to go and tidy them up for me. I just put that one in the wrong place. I did that one completely wrong. I was connecting it to the pool, not the gate. There we go. Get some more of these in. Should probably publish a small, medium, and large one of these. I think my record one is about 30 pulls or something coming out of this.
So this is a child's play here.
Yeah. Well, that one probably took me more than an hour and a half. Upgrade trading. Upgrade mines.
To battle?
Build army.
Yeah. Let's think of the options. So what else can we do? We can build army, yeah. We can attack enemy settlement. I'm not sure if we should include defend own settlement.
Oh, interesting. Controversial.
Yeah. I think we can add defend own settlement.
We need another 2 out of this. Attack, defend. We're giving player plenty of different choices that they can go through. Yeah.
Well, it is a strategy game. It's not your point and click type of game that we've been doing lately.
Nice. That's really good. So I've taken that little loop that we had to start off with the 3 or 4 options, and we've now got all these different options. Now, the reason that I build it with these pools is I'm going to show you how we're going to do this next. First one is going to be this build farm option. Now, we only want that build farm option to be available if we have enough money to build a farm.
Yeah.
And that we have enough difference between our cities and our farms in order to be able to do that. So I'm going to have a register here. Register, I'm going to point at the state connection. I'm going to grab a link from here. That's right. Try and work out where to route these. That'll do. So I've got the letter A coming in, and also I'm going to grab a connection from the gold. Cool. Right, let's have a look at this register. So I've got an A coming in, which actually we've already got our formula in there. So smaller A than B. So it's going to say whether or not that's an available option. If
but
A is smaller, it's going to output a 1. So I'm just going to do A times, and then I'm going to create another one which is larger B than 999.
Yeah, so this basically checks if we have 1,000 gold, at least 1,000 gold or not.
And then I'm going to make this greater than 0. So when I hit play, because we don't have a spare city slot, it's going to give me a 0. and it's also going to check to see if I have enough gold. Then what I would do, I would then take a state connection from my build farms. Let's wiggle this up to here.
Yeah, and we don't need that
somehow.
We don't need that old condition anymore.
Oh, you're right. Oh, we can get rid of... Oh, I see you've taken it out already.
Yeah.
So actually, what we could do... no, I'll leave that there. I've built it. But what I could do is I could take farms and cities, state connections into here, and replace that letter A formula. And rather than having that just as the letter A, I could use this one register to do the function that these two registers are doing right now. But rather than doing that, we'll just leave it. These registers, because we've done them now. Now I've got this one, and this is going to be a trigger, which is a trigger, literally just that star symbol. And what this means is that when this pool's now available, if it meets the criteria of a free farm slot and enough gold in there. So let's test it out, make that 0 farms, hit play. So we're receiving some money. We know we've got a free farm slot that's now available. The player's got loads of things they can spend their money on, so it's going to take them forever to try and go into that pool. But when they do, it'll be amazing. But what will happen is, there we go, they've just been in there. They've then triggered this converter, the converter's fired, and they bought a farm. Now, because there isn't a free city slot, it goes back to grayed out again. So by creating these different conditions of when these output connections from the gate are available, we can create all sorts of crazy logic and simulate different types of player preference and all sorts of things. That's why I love this player loop, because it really lets me very quickly start to build up some quite complex logic.
Yeah, it helps a lot with automatic logic, because we could have left it as interactive, right, and just purchase everything when we consider it's fine. But when thinking about quick runs and everything has to be automatic, then a player loop certainly helps a lot with this kind of logic. Way easier than trying to mix 50 different conditions and trigger a purchase. Way easier to just trigger the event by adding a player. So I think I'm gonna go from the bottom up. Actually, where do we need this? So we need this for farms, trading posts, mines. We don't need the number of cities. We don't care about it for the technology. Yeah.
It's really just to see if they have enough money or not for the technology.
Yes. I'm gonna handle the technologies because they seem easier to handle.
Going to end up with a lot of state connections flying around.
As we always do.
Always do.
Yeah.
I'll try and route these neatly. Make that a star. Super lazy. Copy paste. Nice. Stick another one in here. Grab my letter A from here. Sort out my routing. Letter B comes from my coins, my gold. And to build mines, which is going to be greater than 0. And I'm going to have a state connection looping all the way back around as a trigger. Set it up with a star in it. Copy and paste my formula. Now when I hit play, they're all nicely grayed out because we don't have enough money yet or enough options. We now have build farms available, and this is a great example where it's going to be much faster for the player to go in and do that now, because all of the other options, or a lot of the other options, are then turned off. Right, I'm going to start on build army option. So you're doing all the upgrades, which is fantastic. There's no limitation, is there, on whether or not
we can make one if you want. Well, obviously the money is one. You need 1,000 gold for a unit.
Yeah.
We can make our own limitation. Let's say, but again, this is kind of snowballing. One settlement gives you the option of creating 5 units or something like that. If there is a limitation, it should be based on the number of settlements, is what I'm saying. But I'm not sure if there should be a limitation. I personally prefer when there is not a limitation.
Let's try that again. Larger A than, we said 1,000 for a...
Yeah, 1,000 for a unit.
It's now going to be greater than 0. And then, you know what, I've just realised I was attaching my triggers to the wrong place.
Oh my god, I didn't even attach the triggers. Good thing that you mentioned.
I've been attaching my triggers to the register very foolishly.
Yeah. Happens. When you hit play and something's not right.
Yeah. Alright, let's attach that to the right place now. Whip back around and fix these. Oh, I only did it on the 1. It's okay. I'm going to go around and make these passive now as well, just so I know I've done these.
You can leave them as interactive. Doesn't matter.
They could be left that way. Just
yeah.
Thoroughness.
If there's anyone here who has seen our kitchen scramble deconstruction, you will know that leaving them interactive will have the diagram treat them as passive nodes as long as you don't click on them, but leaving them on interactive can help you test specific cases. So maybe we don't want to wait for the RNG to decide for the player to build a farm. Maybe we want to build it ourselves, so we can leave it as interactive. And if at some point we want to build a farm, just click on the over.
Should I play a loopy? Gonna go with a nice green, I think. We've got our green. Our resources I'm going to make blue. That goes blue. Army's going to be red. I'll leave it like that. Perfect. So we have our blue area for our resources. How many resources? 166 objects so far. It's not bad, it's quite simple. Half an hour to go, Chizza.
Battle system. Let's go with battle system. So we have
fun the other day actually in Discord. I was saying I was going to fun. It was actually somebody else. One of the members of our community was building a model of Risk.
Okay.
Beautiful model. I'm gonna show you this.
Oh, I saw this.
Which is I thought was beautiful. I did make a slight improvement on it. Just because I noticed there was a slight flaw in the logic. Here you get an attacker. Let's give the attacker 10 dice. Let's give the defender 10 dice. I did this quite quickly just to look at the logic of it. So when you do a step, just as in Risk, you roll. The attacker rolls 3 dice. The defender rolls 2 dice. Then looks to see, okay, which is higher. And in this example, I don't know how that works. I think somebody lost some. Oh, they lost.
I think the defender lost. Yeah, they are missing 2 resources.
Yeah. So then next roll, oh, it looks like they're gonna win 1, lose 1. No, it's not perfect logic. There's something missing here.
It's not. They are sorting. I see they sort the results. So I think now they should win 1, lose 1.
I must have broken it. This is a better.
I'm just done.
Who can I credit this for? McDev on our Discord channel came up with this. I think it's a beautiful model. Just to show what's going on here. You've got 3 dice being rolled, 2 dice being rolled, sending these in as different letters, comparing the results to work out which of them is going to lose some resources. Defender rolled a 6 here. Nice.
They're out of units.
Yeah. I don't know if we wanted to go something that complex, or were you just thinking kind of something simpler?
I'm pretty sure we don't do Risk, because Risk is what I intended to do was that having a higher army than your opponent gives you a better chance of winning. In the end, the result will be sort of random, but you still have that chance. In Risk, you simply roll dice and the higher result wins, which is not what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for having a bigger army gives you a better chance.
Perfect.
Doesn't secure the win, but gives you a better chance.
And in this game prototype, like your idea is that the player will be focusing on building empire building, sorting out other things during their gameplay time, and then when they go into battle, it's like battle. Have I won or have I lost? It's not going to be like Total War or something where
it can be both. It can be both. If it can be both, so it can be either, not both. It can be either, because in the end, if you want to simplify a Total War battle, it's either going to be win-lose, right? Which might involve player skill, for instance, because good strategists will position their troops better and have a higher chance of winning, stuff like that. But in the end, it's either going to be a win-lose situation, so we can do either of them perfectly fine, I think.
Nice.
From my Total War experience, I can tell that playing on a lower difficulty, their soldiers die much faster, regardless of what tactics you use. On a higher difficulty, they just don't die. So regardless of how good you are, it's going to be very, very difficult to win a battle. So in the end, it's still going to be sort of a random factor in there.
Nice. So, how do you want to set this up?
Well, we're going to be looking at both. Let me join the model again because I was on the risk one. What we're going to look at is both attacking and defending. What's the player's army? What's the enemy's army? Right, which is why I'm dragging the enemy troops to the right.
That's a line
So
up.
I'm-
You can't just stick it over there.
Yeah, sure. So what we can do, I guess, on a very simplistic level, I'm trying to think while speaking, is when we enter the path of either attacking or defending, so the player chooses to attack or defend.
Why would the player get the choice when they're defending, though?
Yeah, it's not a choice. Let's call it. Are you thinking that?
Here's a quick thing I thought about. So at the moment, we've got these number ones on the output of our game.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to make this 100% and make each of these 100%.
Okay.
It's slightly boring to watch me type 100% into these boxes again and again. But then make defending 100.
You could have multiple selected them.
Well, you can't do that for formula, can you? No, you can't.
Yeah, you can't. Okay, you got me there. That was thinking.
That was about to blow my mind. Oh, thank you. So you've done the rest of those. So then, if we then make the defend option rather than 100%, I'm going to make it 10,000%, and we're going to randomly decide when that's occurring. So
we can leave it at 10% and leave it as an option. I mean, not 10%, and then.
You see what I mean? Like I was thinking, like a random event that occurs that then makes that happen.
Okay.
So I'm going to randomize that slightly with a little random number generator. I'm going to fire that in here.
You can also use a random gate.
No, no. That's no, I can't. I've got to, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this conditional. So I'm going to put.
Yeah. You could have used the random gate to pass one resource into the pool, and let's say with a 2% chance, and if the pool has one resource, then it activates the 10,000% chance, for instance.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I'm with you. So I'm going to call this D.
Make it D. Yeah, let's make it a small chance.
And I'm going to make this. That number's got to be greater than 195.
That's basically
2.5%. Actually, I'm going to make it less because the player also has to be coming through that at the right time. Is that going to work?
Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean. Yeah, you can make it 190 because there's 2 layers of randomness. Yeah, because the player takes 2 steps to get back to.
Or I should just make that 100. I'll make that 90. I'll do. So that's like 5%. And just because it's boring trying to watch that, I'm going to make both those connections instant. and put a -1 on there. There we go, we just got a flashy number. Oh, that was close. So then there's a chance that if it's timed right, when that goes over, it's gonna come in for this.
Yeah.
Hi Enzo, great to see you from South America. What we'll be doing is we've been doing loads of deconstructions recently. So this time, rather than doing a deconstruction of somebody else's game, me and Chesney are having some fun building up our own strategy game. And what we've got we've got a whole load of stuff going on here. The blue stuff is our resources, where we've got farms, trading, mining that generate gold coins for us. This green section is our player loop, and the red section is our army. What we're doing is we're just working on a mechanic to look at our actual battle system to see whether or not the player will win or lose a city.
Yep.
So we'll work out the rest of this defending city in a moment.
No, I think it's working.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we need to work out what that attaches to. What's that going to trigger?
Yeah, we need to do the battle system, yeah. So what I was thinking of the battle system is, as I said, we're going to have chances. I think that attack defense should both trigger a source that generates one resource, which is going to be the battle result, and that battle result is either going to be a win or lose, going through a random gate. So something like have a source in here, have a gate with win-lose. Let's make those straight connections. This is going to be random. Top one is win. Let's call them victory. And now this passive source is going to be triggered. I don't know if we should do, I think we should do a separate one. So we should have one for defend and then duplicate it and have one for attack. Something like this with triggers here, obviously.
I like that.
And what we want to work out now are the chances. I'm thinking we should do it in a pretty dumb way.
I'm going to have to tidy this up because this is a complete mess, Chesney.
Sure, go ahead. Be my guest.
Let's find get these laid out a little bit better.
I'm gonna bring a register here.
I was giving you time to work out how to do the logic for it.
Yes.
Yeah, tidying it up. And as the output's actually going to be fairly simple because the output's then going to be either a source or a drain into the cities.
Yes.
So I'm going to move my cities, and I'm sure this is going to break a whole bunch of connections. That's not bad.
Yeah, that wasn't so bad.
I thought that was going to make a horrific mess, but I am going to tidy it up. I know we've got lots of connections in here. Well, not that many.
Let's make them 50%, 50% both. And
so if you attack and you're victorious, I'm going to have that trigger. Let's try loop that around so it's not connecting over anything. It's going to trigger a source, which is then going to push one resource into the cities, and then if you defeated one you're defending, that's going to trigger a drain on your cities. How are you getting on with your logic here?
Think about it. On a very simple level, if we make it so just something like this.
So you've grabbed army technology level, number of units, and
enemy army.
A random enemy city troops.
Yes. On a very simple level, you can see that I have A times 5 minus C times 5. So basically, each unit will give or take 5% chance. That's very basic. I don't mind it. I do want to think about.
Why do you do that as times 5 and then plus and minus 1% on the state connections? Why not do A minus C and then do plus 5 minus 5% on the state connections? Does it make any difference?
Absolutely no difference.
Oh.
Both are correct approaches. So this is the same as what was here before. I do kind of want to use army technology too. This is what I'm thinking. Maybe the army technology gives, I don't know, let's just make it simple so it's not too complicated.
I was thinking a fairly small increase. Otherwise it just makes it technology so overpowered.
Yeah, I'm just adding it. So what technology level with that will constantly add 5% to your chances of winning. Obviously it should be done in a more smart way, but we're kind of running out of time here. So
13 whole minutes, Chesson, got ages.
We do, but have you considered the fact that the player loses settlements, and if they have 3 farms and 3 settlements and they lose a settlement, they need to also lose a farm?
You know what? I had thought that, but I wasn't going to say it out loud, so you didn't have to build it. But now you've said it.
Sorry, I should have typed that in private.
I did think about that. I think I was going to allow it to be discovered through the gameplay once we actually get to a point when we're making this available.
We can leave it at that and see if people notice. The ones that haven't attended the stream.
That's true. Well,
it can be an intentional. Can you check the chances to see what's going on there? Just zoom in a bit so I can see as well. Okay, so they have a higher chance. Yeah, they are losing a lot. They did win once.
They've won once, but I think that means they haven't. Oh,
they have an extra city. Yeah. They won again. They won again. When they keep losing, there's no trigger. There's a greater than 0, not a trigger on the. That's why they're not losing settlements.
Oh.
There we go. Now they're gonna lose settlements.
So, I think we're gonna have to put some more logic into that enemy city troops, because I think that has to scale, because they literally start off at the start of the game with like 1 troop. And maybe
they should scale. They should scale over time. Maybe increase it over time in general.
Yeah, but also maybe we should take out that attack option, because early on the game right now, let me zoom out a little bit and show all of this green area is our player loop. So this has got all the different things that a player could be doing inside the game. I'm going to hit play, and you'll notice all of them are grayed out apart from attack.
Ah, well,
And
you can have
increase army tech, because we haven't wired it up yet. So basically, at the start of the game, the only thing we're giving the player to do is that they can't upgrade anything. They've got no army, and we're only letting them attack stuff.
Yeah, that's an oversight on our part, and it's a good observation. My personal opinion on this is they should also have a fast turn option, because there are turns when you literally don't do anything.
Well, you know what? I was thinking of something. In these sorts of games, I think a lot about the flow rate that the player's in, and is the player going to be having a great, are they going to be super intense fight battles all the time, which they've got at the moment, and you kind of want a period for them to kind of relax a little bit more and come down, and then go into that area of higher tension again. So maybe having something that gives them some coins directly, some kind of mission outside of the battles. I don't know.
We can do missions.
They go on some kind of treasure hunting trip, which might result in them receiving some bonus coins.
For instance, even comparing to other games. So again, I'm going to make a reference to Rome Total War. When you're playing as the Romans, you do receive some missions, and if you complete them, you receive various rewards. So it is realistic.
I want to move this. I'm going to put it here so it's out of the way. I'm going to add another option onto my player loop. That's a bit too zoomed out. And I'm going to make this add it to the loop. Call it go treasure hunting. Lost my label. And make that 100%. And hold down the Alt key. Add that in with a state connection with a trigger on it. Make it passive. I'm going to fire this into a gate. And that gate's either going to be succeed or fail. Actually, I'm not going to have that as a gate. I'm going to have that going into a gate that's going to go into a converter. And then that converter's going to produce a random amount of coins. So I'm going to loop this all the way back up into my gold.
I don't think you need the second gate.
I think I do.
You do. Never mind. Yes, he does. I was away for a week. I forgot everything. I'm fresh to this.
The reason I do this is I'm going to give this a percentage chance of success.
Yes.
So I'm going to make this a random gate. I'm going to give it a 50%. 50%.
Yeah, and the reason he does this is because the converter looks at the input as the amount of resources that they need to convert, right? So the converter will want one resource and convert them into whatever number of coins. Because Matthew did the gate trick here, that input is 1. So they know that they want one resource and turn them into a random amount between 100 and 600. If it was 50%, they would read that 50% not as a 1, as a 0.5. So it would convert to double the amount.
Right. So I've got a 100% chance. So it's equal to the others. It's always available. There's not going to be anything determining that.
Yeah.
And I think we should have some kind of condition on the attack.
Yeah, maybe if they have at least a number of troops or something, like
Yeah.
don't attack like crazy.
They're only going to do that if they have at least 5 units. So we're going to make. No, wait. I'll point that connection.
I'm thinking we should also make the defend the same way, because you're not gonna get. This is because the way we generate enemy units is kind of dumb right now, and you're not really gonna get attacked by 13 units in the first turn of the game, right? So maybe we should wait until the player has 5 units to also generate enemy attacks. Oh, that looks beautiful.
It's not good at all, is it?
No, it's beautiful.
That's better. Increase
add one to defend. Add one to defend as well, maybe. Same condition. Otherwise, the players. Yeah. Otherwise, the player's gonna get assaulted from the beginning. Ooh. Obviously, we should work on that logic more. But
nice. How are we doing for time?
4 minutes.
Oh, plenty. I got that. No, I routed it all perfectly, and then I pointed it at that. Actually, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna leave it there. Has the same impact.
Not really, because now the resource from defend isn't gonna go forward.
Oh, that's true. That better? And then increase army tech. We haven't put a register in for that, so let's stick a quick one in here. And this is only going to be. Actually, I don't even need a register for it. No, I do.
You need one for money, but the player can go to choose to increase army tech, but not have enough money, so not increasing anything. So that's fine. Larger A 4,999, I think.
Yep. $9,999, isn't it? Isn't it 10,000?
10K? Yeah, it's 10K. You're right.
So we're going to grab that from here onto the 100%. Route that so it's nice and pretty, greater than 0. And then we're going to grab a trigger from here, from the pool, up to there, with a trigger.
Yes.
Try and do that in prettily. Oh, Tezza. So, how long we got? 2 minutes. So what's going on with our game? At the start of the game, the player's just doing lots of treasure hunting until they get enough money. And we've got them buying different items. They did a defend and they lost their city. Game over.
Game over.
Game over. If you're watching, please press F in chat to pay respects to our player. I'm going to add an end condition in here, which is if this equals 0.
Yeah, and I also believe that they should start with more than one city.
Oh, I don't. I think they should start with one city. And what do we want to measure? We want to measure gold.
Gold, army.
Army. I'm going to make gold a
settlements,
different color. I'm going to make
cities.
this a goldy color then. Make that a gold color. Cities, that needs to be in there.
That's about it, I think.
Gold, I'm going to put on the right scale, everything
Yes.
else on the left scale. The reason I do that
Yes.
is because number of cities is going to be small, amount of gold is going to be large. Here we go, game economy on the way.
Yeah, they are gonna.
Oh, they've got one army unit. They've spent some money.
Yeah, I think they bought farms or something because there's also another decrease in gold there. Again, they bought another unit.
Uh-oh, they got attacked.
They lost.
They
Yeah.
lost their city. Tricky. Early game's hard. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We've made this tricky. And we're bang on time. So I'm going to do a quick 30-second summary. Hi, Surya. So what we've done is we've taken our super simple game loop. We've got a random leftover pool that we didn't use. Get rid of that. So here we've got our super simple loop, which was player receives some gold. They use this to convert into an army. The army has a cost to keep running. They can then basically use their army to go and increase their cities. Their cities means they increase the amount of gold they win and increase their armies. The more cities they have, the harder it is to win another city, which we didn't quite get into. And we've taken this very simplified core game loop and we've converted this into this model. The blue area here is our player economy, where we've got a number of cities, we've got a number of different upgrades they can make to their cities. We've got an army system where they increase their army and their army tech. And then this huge section here looks really complicated, but for anyone that kind of watched us build that, it's a really simplified player loop, which just allows us to simulate different types of actions that the player can do. And then here we've got a simple battle system where the player can go out, either attack other cities to try and take them over or randomly be attacked. And also a treasure hunting mechanic where they can go out and try and find gold across the map outside of the battles. That's pretty good, Cesar. This is almost a full game, 220 components, 90 minutes. Job well done, I think.
Yeah, pretty good logic. Obviously can be expanded upon, but I'm satisfied with what we achieved in 90 minutes. Yeah.
Nice. And the great thing is, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, down in the comments section, you'll see there is a link to this model, and you can click on that, follow this link, and it'll take you directly to this model, so you can have a play around with it and see what we've constructed today. As always, it's been loads of fun going through this. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Thank you very much, Cesar. It's always a pleasure building models with you. It's always such good
Always fun. A pleasure. Always a pleasure, yeah.
And we'll see you all next week if we don't see you before. Enjoy the rest of your day.